Yo guys, sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out what to believe. You know, you have science and you have supernatural, and people will suggest things to you and they'll tell you things and you want to believe, and sometimes you assume that certain things are true, and it's how people deceive you. Like, for example, I'm not talking into this mic, there's a mic up there. I broached this subject in my video, Are Ghosts Real? And I'll make a link to that. But today I'm going to sort of keep this video more about ESP and, well, sometimes ghosts. When we talk about ghosts and psychics and talking to the dead, telekinesis, or any of the supernatural, that you have to open your mind up to these possibilities. Because if you choose to close your mind to these possibilities, there's little reason to explore such matters, and maybe you're okay with that, but you wouldn't be watching this channel now, would you? From self-proclaimed psychics to mythbusters, superstition has come under fire by scientists, and science has come under fire by religion. Spoiler alert, I won't be able to lay all this out just in this little video. But two things I do try to avoid debating usually, and that's religion and politics, at least on this channel. However, to many, religion is a supernatural belief, and many people are totally comfortable with that idea, while others believe that anything other than their religion is supernatural, and it's not factual. Odd how that works. But these days, we're loaded to the gills with fake things. Everything from fake videos to, these deep fake videos to made-up news, and it seems to be just getting worse. And maybe it's because of the internet and our ability to just spread bullshit faster and further at an alarming pace. But then again, some fake things are okay. We buy into books, movies, television plots that are clearly fiction because we're okay with it to some degree. We get in the proverbial car and are willing to take that storied ride and buy into the fantasy sometimes. We all have our limits though, but when we're children, we tend to believe what our parents tell us, even those little white lies, and they tell us all sorts of things that really aren't true. And the older we get, the truer it all seems to get, and then we long for the days when we were told those little white lies because they were more fun. Kids have all the fun, It is our endless search to recreate those childlike feelings that allow us to crave and believe in things that maybe don't exist, or are things just more complicated than all of that. James Randi, or the Amazing Randi, issued the $1 million Paranormal Challenge in 1964. It was an offer by the James Randi Educational Foundation, JREF, to pay out $1 million to anyone who could demonstrate a supernatural or paranormal ability under agreed upon scientific testing criteria. Over 1,000 people applied to take it, but none were successful. The challenge was finally terminated in 2015. Randi's challenge was not without its criticism, however. Of course, many mediums and ESP people refuted it, but there was one guy, astronomer Dennis Rollins, who described the challenge as insincere and saying that Randi would ensure that he never had to pay out. Rollins is an American astronomer and historian who has acquired the reputation of being a skeptic, primarily with respect to historical claims connected to astronomical considerations. So, he's no joke. Now, the Amazing Randi exposed people like Uri Geller, who claimed he could bend spoons with his mind, and Peter Popoff, a televangelist and faith healer that Randi exposed in 1986 for using an earpiece to receive radio messages from his wife, who gave him the names, addresses, and ailments of the audience members during his religious services.
Okay, she lives at 4267 Masterson.
4267 Masterson, I can see the angels of God all around your house.
Busted. So does this mean that all supernatural beliefs, religion, ESP, cryptid monsters, demons, demon possessions, ghosts, UFOs, and all things unexplainable are really explainable and false? Well, until someone can explain away all the reasons why all of it is fake, we must wonder. We must also realize that one fakery doesn't mean it's all fakery.
It's all fakery.
I have talked about the string theory on this channel before, and some folks believe that somewhere in all of this is where ghosts lie. The theory is that beyond atoms, protons, neurons, quarks, etc., that deeper into matter, many scientists believe that there are tiny strings that vibrate at different notes. Mathematicians say that for this to exist, there would have to be 10 dimensions, and even some saying up to 11. We know that X, Y, and Z, the planes that we normally exist on, 3 dimensions, but if you add time and space, that makes 4. But where are the other 6? And scientists theorize that these dimensions are rolled up dimensions. Like if a fly walks around the circumference of a bottle and eventually returns to where it started, this is in theory something like what would describe a rolled up dimension. If you travel around the world in a straight line, you'd wind up back to where you started. Sorry, flat earthers. There are considerably more ways in which to roll up 6 spatial dimensions, but that's just one example. Physicists now agree on one thing, that they really honestly do believe that there is a 4th dimension. Theoretically, there may be higher dimensions besides our normal 3, is what they're saying. By dimensions, what we're talking about, again, is X, Y, and Z, length, width, height. And when we talk about a 4th dimension, it's considered space-time. Again, here physicians mean a spatial dimension beyond the normal 3, described using a tesseract. We already think in terms of higher dimensions when we consider our lives and possibilities in our lives. Mathematically, we can describe the 4th dimension, but we may never experience it in the physical realm. Or can we? You don't need to buy into magical thinking to believe this, but if you do a quick 4th dimension Google search, you will be overwhelmed with explanations if you don't think that this stuff really exists and that physicists are believing in it. So how would a 4th dimension prove the existence of ghosts? It might not, but it might provide us with reasons why we see things that aren't there, barring that you aren't batshit crazy. And maybe some people can reach through time and predict the future, or maybe clarify the past. This would be somewhat of an explanation. Look, the world is full of pseudoscience and bro science. It's so hard to get to the real answers. But to me, it's almost the same to not believe in ESP, not believe in ghosts, not believe in afterlife, than it is to just believe that science explains all of it. While our current science really is truly amazing, there's just too many holes to discount the never-ending stories and experiences that people report every day, millions of times a year. Are we all just that batshit crazy? Well, maybe me. Look, if you know me, you know from this channel that I get angered by fakes, because nothing murks the water like fake BS. If you aren't really a medium and have no ESP powers, do everybody a favor and move on and become something else in life. Don't go around figuring ways to fake it by using cold readings. Well, Wikipedia describes it as a set of techniques used by mentalists, psychics, fortune tellers, and mediums without prior knowledge. Practiced cold reading person can quickly obtain a great deal of information by analyzing the person. Cold readings commonly employ high probability guesses, and then they quickly pick up on signals as to whether their guesses are in the right direction or not, and then they emphasize and reinforce those chance connections, quickly moving from missed guesses to ones that they nail. Psychologists believe that this appears to work because of the Barnum effect, as in P.T. Barnum, the circus guy. You know, there's a sucker born every minute, that guy. This technique was used extensively by John Edwards on the Crossing Over TV show. Look, I'm sensitive and empathetic with emotions that are evoked by loss, death, and grief, and faking this stuff just aggravates me to no end. I'm not sure if I'm more mesmerized by true mediums or how screwed up it is for people to fake it. That mesmerizes me too. Oftentimes I find myself utilizing similar techniques to quickly learn about a person, but it's not nefarious. A great deal of information I get just by looking at a person's body language, their age, clothing, fashion, their hairstyle, their gender, what t-shirt they have on, their ethnicity, maybe their level of education. But I don't use it to trick people. But fake mediums and mentalists often do. How can one conclude either way if something's real or isn't, or if they're doing this technique. But these people, to me, are easily spotted, and they're spotted just the same way that they try to spot you. And if you know what you're looking for, and if you go to a medium, I say don't answer any leading questions. They're the psychic, not you. They need help, and they need all that help. Well, they're probably not very good. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I can't begin to cover all the information about science versus supernatural and all that kind of stuff, and all the underpinnings that go along with that. But I do hope that you got something out of this, and it makes you think a little bit. As for me, I remain an open-minded skeptic. Some things supernatural are truly amazing, but that other percent are pure BS. The ones that do that are the ones that ruin it. Take care of each other and keep rock alive.